Well, hey, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Agenda Review. We're looking at agenda for Wednesday, January the 14th. Tom, take it away.
Hey, we have first of all, it's an 8:30 a.m. start for next Wednesday. And Brandon is here to talk about county good news. We'll start with.
And good morning for county announcements. On Wednesday at 11 a.m. at the flagpole at the historic courthouse, the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office will be hosting Flag Sojourn 250. That's part of America's 250th birthday programming. The Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office selected to host the event in honor of the entire state. So we're going to be talking about that again, as well as winter prep kits as the cold weather approaches. Important to have in your vehicles. We have a video that we did with Sedgwick County Emergency Management that we will highlight. And just a reminder that offices will be closed Monday, January 19th for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, but emergency services will still be available by dialing or texting 911. And that's all for county announcements.
Thanks, man. And I think, as I remember, the flag ceremony with the sheriff is at 11 o'clock on. That's the reason we're going with the 8:30 meeting, is to give you guys time to, we'll have the rest of the agenda here and to give you time to get over there by 11. So, okay, we have one proclamation on human trafficking. I sent you that proclamation yesterday. There's one appointment resignation. And then this is the one meeting a year where we have two new business areas. New business part one is the general county business. Item C is the chairman's award. And then we have item D, which is it's the technical resolution amendment between city and county. We are adding Derby Fire and Derby Police to the 911 advisory board. That's the amendment covering that. And then item E is bid board. There's a ton of bid board stuff, 7 items really quickly here. We'll run over. Item 1 on bid board is the educational services for the evening reporting center. That is a educational instruction and classroom support for juvenile offenders that we went out for bid on. Item 2 is prevention early intervention services for departments of corrections. This is crime prevention money, and MHA has a $71,000 contract in that. That's what this bid board item is. It was vended out. There was 116 people that was sent out to an MHA, came in with the winning bid. Item 3 is trash collection services for facilities maintenance. Item 4 is the Senior Care Act and Older Americans Act Home In Services work that the Department of Aging funds, and we had a number of bidders come in for that. Item 5 is the sheriff's block camera. I think block camera is their tag reading software that they use to scan tags. And then items 6 and 7, I want to have Anna and maybe Lindsay kind of tag team. These are on one. Item 6 is an onboarding service, and item 7 is Kronos telestaff maintenance and support items that are were both done in joint governmental purchase agreements. And maybe just kind of talk about what's going on there holistically. Lindsay.
Okay, so for payroll on the timekeeping system, it's going into support. We're going to continue with the same company, which should reduce the amount of implementation time and cost and complexity. But it's a necessary thing we do when systems go end of life. Any other questions?
No.
I feel like that wasn't very much. Yes, sir.
Okay, consent items are very short for the week. Daniel's here, I guess. Item F is a resolution designating bridge weight restrictions. I don't know if you have questions for Daniel or if he wants to expound upon that, but I guess it's good that we have weight restrictions for bridges.
Yeah. Is that changing, by the way? Is there some?
There are some changes. If you go to the back, there is a column that shows what has changed. So we do have 15 postings that have been removed. There were 7 new bridge postings. And then I'll also note there is one bridge that has been closed since 2022. That work is currently underway, so that will be reopening this year.
Item G is Lorian had sent an email yesterday or day before to all of you with a list of interfund transfer of unexpended 2025 budget authority items. There was a list of maybe a dozen items. Any questions on that or anything stick out on your? And then item H is a couple of affiliation agreements between Heart of Love and Home Buddy with the IDD service provider contracts. And then the rest of it's routine business there. And then we get into new business part 2. And I might have Justin just kind of go through. I think he sent an email and but just for the public, kind of what's going to happen on Wednesday with the changing of the gavel.
Certainly. Thanks, Tom. Commissioners, on this item, and it's up to if the board would want to handle it differently, we certainly could. This isn't set by statute or county code, but the process we've used last year and approximately the last 5 or so years would be to first take up the selection of chair. Any commissioner could make a nomination for a member to serve as chair, including you could self-nominate if you would want to. There would not be a need for a second. If there would only be one nomination, then I would imagine voting could occur by a voice vote. If there would be multiple nominations, the county clerk's office will have documents with each of your names as commissioners, and you would write in the commissioner who had been nominated, who you would vote. The clerk would read it out because we can't have secret ballots under coma. And then those would be, once you would have 3, whether it would happen the first time or take 2 or 3 rounds or however many, once you would get 3, that would be your chair. And then you go through the same process for a chair pro tem. Any questions on that? Probably how it would play out then. So,
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm fine. Yep, good.
Okay, that's all we had. My button didn't want to come on. There's always a small reception after this meeting. And then, like I said, we go all over to the flag ceremony. That's
Great.
it.
Okay. Questions? 8:30 a.m. start Wednesday? Okay.
Legislative session opens on Monday, and we already have Dr. Stedman will be testifying on Wednesday, so
Moving.
I doubt I'll have much to report out, but we'll start putting that on the agenda.
Yep.
I think we all just received an email. AAC group that I saw. Register every Friday afternoon. They're gonna do some recap.
I have that on my calendar, Commissioner. I'd be glad to forward it to all commissioners so they can have that link.
Great. Okay.
Is that a interactive discussion?
Justin, do you know?
It is, they encourage you to send your questions in advance, but I think it's a Zoom meeting. You're welcome to ask questions, I think, during Zoom. So.
And Commissioner Howe's point, I think it would probably be preferable if there wouldn't be more than 2 commissioners participating. I think it's probably what you're getting to, Commissioner Howe.
Is the media included in that call?
I don't know how Casey is structuring that, if they're having it open or not.
I should say the public as well, public and the media.
But if you keep it to 2 commissioners or less, there would be no.
Well, then we have to coordinate that.
Well, commissioners maybe. I assume it's fairly public. It's pretty big.
Yeah, and
I'd rather, instead of coordinating it, just we're gonna do it and just advise it.
I think that could be, and I think you could direct staff to go there. It sounds like Tanya's planning to be there. So yeah, I mean, and not to, I mean, their issues will be relevant and pertinent. There's gonna be a lot of county-based legislative items that we'll be talking about frequently. So, but I'm certainly happy to answer any questions that comes up.
Okay, you'll forward it?
I will.
Thank you. We're good. See you Wednesday, 8:30 a.m.